I loved it. It was so much fun, and I really learned a lot from Chris as far as like how you write a comic book. And then the BBC approached us about doing an animated show for them because they liked the comics. They actually wanted us to do Jane Austen meets Buffy, and we were like, they did that already in Tales of the Slayer. Jane Espenson kind of already did that, so we pitched them something else, and so we did that for the BBC. It was called The Ghost of Albion, and then we novelized that universe for Random House, and that was the first time I had written like full-scale prose. I'd always written like short little bits and pieces, but this was like, you have a book you must write now. You must write like 3,000 words every time you sit down. And it was a real learning experience. And writing with Chris, because we co-wrote the books, it was sort of like going to school. You know, I was taking like a master's creative writing program or something, because Chris would be like, okay, well this is, you know, he would go in and edit and show me like what works, what doesn't work, you know, and I had written, you know, little plays and stuff, and I had written, you know, the comic books with him, so it was about learning how you sort of describe things in a way that's interesting to an audience, and you don't leave them like with sparse description, you know, so they don't know where they are. Like, where is this in the I don't know where we are. Like, I know there's dialogue happening, but I don't know, they haven't described the location at all. So I had to learn how to like do that, and it was really fun. I had a good time, and then I was like, I want to write my own stuff, and so that's sort of how the Death's Daughter book sort of came into being. You had your hand up with the reddish hair that you're like hiding behind. Yeah.
Okay, so I know you like died on the show. And
spoiler alert! Come on. 7, 8, 9 years later.
Yeah.
I want to know if there's like a theory between Buffy fans that like if you're happy in the Joss universe, you have to die. So like, you know.
True.
I just want to know if there's like. If Joss ever was like, well, you know, everybody's getting happy, Tara has to die.
Time for you to go.
Well, can I tell you how he told me that the character was going to die? We were shooting the season finale for season 5, and I remember like they had like a fake Dawn, like this giant Dawn like mannequin thing that was up on the giant tower. And I remember we were shooting in this like weird location. There was the Dawn doll up on the tower and stuff. I was watching everybody, and Josh was like, "Hey, come over to the trailer. I wanna tell you something." And so he and I and like his assistant and stuff, we were all hanging out. And he's like, "So I want to tell you this thing. It's so exciting. Oh my god." I was like, "Okay, what exciting thing do you have to tell me, Josh?" He's like, "We're gonna kill your character. It's not exciting."
Oh God.
But he went through his like, you know, he explained like the story arc and how he really wanted Willow to like, it was the addiction storyline. He wanted her to hit bottom, so that, you know, with addiction it's really tough until you kind of hit the end to come back, you know. So he explained the whole thing, and I thought, well, story wise that's great, but I was like, really? Does she have to die? Can't she lose an arm? She just be like one arm Tara. That would be odd and awkward. I was like, come on, that's not fair. Xander just lost an eye. Can't I lose an appendage? But I understood from like a story point of view that it was necessary. I think had Joss realized the extent of the outcry from the character dying, he may not have done it that way. I don't know. He probably still would have.
It was brutal.
It was very intense. But like I said, with Willow, she had been, you know, on this path of addiction, and the only way to come out of it was to just lose the one thing that was most important in her life, which was Tara.
Right.
You know, which kind of sucked for Dawn because we were raising her. So.
Yeah, it's true.
We were. I was like, wow, I'm like a mom.
Yeah.
Taking care of a teenager.
Well, and the fact that they left you in that room laying there like that almost the whole episode.
And Dawn had to stay with
you.
Well, I can't. I didn't really watch. I did like this kind of thing for part of it. I couldn't really. It was really intense. We the last day that I had to shoot, it was Michelle and Sarah and I, and they brought a cake out. It's a big tombstone that says "Rest in Peace, Tara McClure."
No.
And we're all crying, and so there's a picture of me. I'm holding a giant butcher knife like this. I've got the bullet wound. I'm like crying, and I'm like standing in front of this tombstone. It's a Polaroid that I have that I will.
Okay, I was wondering. I had heard that you didn't want to come back and play the first. Is that true? That you decided not to come back and play the first?
Yeah, it was a combination of things. I was getting ready to go to London to direct the animated show for the BBC, the Ghost of Albion stuff.
Right.
And so it
conflicted.
Right, yeah, it was conflicting with that. And when he was like, "Yeah, she's going to be bad," and I was like, "Oh, I don't really want her
I don't think we would have wanted to see it anyway.
Yeah, we went back and forth a lot, and it just didn't work out.
Didn't work out.
Had the show gone on, probably would have found a way to
Right.
bring her back in a more positive way.
Right.
But it just for whatever reason it wasn't meant to be.
Right.
And for me,
I was kind of glad.
For me, it was the right thing for me. Sometimes you do something and you're like, well, I don't know how this is going to work out, but for me, making this decision is the right choice.
Okay.
So.
I think so.
Because you haven't, but I'll come back, I promise.
Do you still keep in touch with any of the cast members from Buffy at all?
Adam?
Yeah, no, I see a lot of them, actually, here and there. Because we're all, we're split between New York and LA now, but, I see people periodically at, like, someone's birthday or at a baby shower, but now that everyone's got kids, it's like, when they have kids, you never see them. So I haven't seen Allie in a while, because she's mom, and she's working, too. It's tough.
Yeah, everyone else in the universe
just
get on that show. When are you going to be on?
Yeah, when are you going to be on?
That would do for the ratings for one episode anyway.
Right.
I know. Someone was saying that her first pick of the baby name was Tara.
Oh, you should be the mom. You should be Ted's wife.
They just renewed that show for 2 years.
I know.
I was like, wow.
We'll never find out.
On it, right? Like he was a priest.
Yeah, right.
What is Danny Strong doing as a priest? Jonathan.
Yeah, he gets around. I like Danny. He gets around.
Talking about Tara's death, Christopher Golden, in one of his books, Dark Congress, he brought Tara back, and I was super shocked when I read it. What? And then it's when I drank the book in 2 days.
You inhaled it. You're like,
yeah, because it's like I knew what the book was going to be about.
Yeah.
And then these made me I really want to know where this is going, and I think, of course, Christopher Golden, awesome, and how he took it and how he handled it.
Yeah.
I think it was perfect.
Yeah, I thought he did a really lovely job with it too. Chris is awesome. He's my East Coast family. He and his family, they've adopted me. I stay with them when I'm in Boston. I do carpool runs with them. It's fun. I feel like I have 3 kids. No.
Out of all the TV appearances and movies that you've done, are any of them more memorable than others?
Well, Buffy, obviously, it was a big chunk of my life, and it made a very big impact. So definitely that's a big part of my life. Gosh, making my own films has been awesome. Because it's like your child. So you're not just an actor. You're creating a whole world. Probably, I did a film called King of the Hill. It was the first thing I did. It's a Steven Soderbergh film that nobody saw, but it's really beautiful. It takes place during the American Depression in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's beautiful. And Adrian Brody's in it, and Lauryn Hill from the Fugees is the elevator operator in the movie. So yeah, she was a kid then. Katherine Heigl. So it's all these up and you had no idea that these people were going to go on and have these amazing careers. But so I'm really proud of that one.
I can't
played an
remember the name of
epileptic
it,
girl.
though.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. That monster movie.
Yeah, that weird, funny monster movie. Weren't you in that weird movie?
With Ron Jeremy?
With Ron Jeremy?
Yeah, the One-Eyed Monster.
The One-Eyed Monster, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
That was
fun. That was fun. I had such a good time on that.
I bet that was.
I decided that working with porn stars is more fun than working with regular actors.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
They're lovely. Talk about nice people. Seriously.
Right.
Super nice. Yes.
Do you have any other books that you plan to write at this time, or are you focused on this series for now?
I've been really focused on this series, but I've been doing some short stories for different anthologies. I guess Charlene Harris does those Wolfsbane and Mistletoe, and so I'm going to do one for them.
Oh, cool.
Next year, and then I have a middle grade book from Simon & Schuster called Among the Ghosts that came out in October. That's coming out in paperback this autumn. But I've just been they've sort of overwhelmed my life, these books, but I would love to do other stuff. I'd like to do mysteries, actually.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
A mystery bookshop.
Yeah.
So the 4th book actually is it has a mystery component to it. I'm actually setting it up in a locked door mystery plot sort of setup. So I've had to figure out mysteries are very different. They're plotted differently, and the way that the act structures are broken down is different. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of research, and it's been really fun. I was I want to do this. I want to write really cool mysteries. I love Agatha Christie, and I'm just a big mystery buff. So maybe I'll move into the Miller Thristery. The thriller mystery. Thriller thirstery.
Fantasy.
Go away, coffee.